NBA All-Star Weekend has come and gone, so we'll go through all the festivities from Friday, Saturday night, as well as the new format on Sunday. We'll also talk a little bit of football, and as always, we'll hand out L's and a bully of the week. This is Recognized Game presented by Jim and 10 Sports. Let's get it.
And ever since that day I had her. Yeah. They wanna know the kind of ride
Welcome to Recognized Game presented by Jim and 10 Sports. I am EB, CEO and head of creative of In My Bag Apparel. With me, as always, is my co-host and brother, CB the Bully, head barber and owner of Bully's Cuts and Styles in Denver, Colorado. What's happening, homie?
Another day, another dollar.
We had the All-Star Weekend just passed, man. There was some good things, there was some bad. We'll get into that, but let's start with a little bit of football, man. I just wanted to get this question out here because we talk about how Patrick Mahomes is creeping up on GOAT status. The 3 and 5 years he was going for this three-peat, but I haven't heard a lot of what happens if Patrick Mahomes or the Chiefs don't win again. Like, because right now you have men like Earl Morrall and the Troy Aikmans of the world. He has 3 Super Bowls. Him getting them in his first 7 years is a feat in and of itself.
How many does he have?
He has 3.
I don't know if you could say the GOAT debate is over. I think he still has a lot of time too.
Yeah, but there's people. Dan Marino went to 1 Super Bowl, never got back, never won another one. Like,
people speak highly of Dan. Dan.
That's what I'm saying. But he's not in that greatest of all time conversation. And with these 3 Super Bowls, Mahomes hasn't even cracked into Terry Bradshaw, Joe Montana with 4 Super Bowls type of air. So, I mean, you look at Aaron Rodgers, got his 1 Super Bowl in 2010 and never got back. Drew Brees got the 1 Super Bowl with the Saints, never got back. So even though he got these 3 and 7 years, and you look at it right now, it looks like, sure, there's plenty of time. He has maybe another decade of career where he can Nick Foles. But like where it seems inevitable that he'll just get right back because they've done it so often and they've been in 6 or 7 AFC title games. But let's say they don't get back for the rest of Patrick Mahomes' career.
I'll tell you right now, they're like the Golden State Warriors of the NFL. Had a nice run, but it might come. It might be over. Might be time to get rid of Draymond. Try something new. I feel like the code is cracked. I felt like there was a time in the NBA when the code was cracked to the Warriors, and I feel like it's been cracked. I don't see him beating the Eagles. You keep that defense.
Even with your Warriors example, they retooled and got back and won it again.
That's why I'm saying they can't. We can't sign them off yet. We can't write them off yet either. And even if it is from like 2 years down the line.
I understand all that. I'm not saying I'm writing them off. I'm saying this is strictly hypothetical. What if the Chiefs don't get back to a Super Bowl? What if they don't win again? What if finally Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson and some of these guys, Joe Burrow, with all the quarterbacks in the AFC and with Philly somewhat cracking the code, say the Chiefs don't make it back? We've had all these conversations over the last 3 years. Is Patrick Mahomes now the GOAT? Is he in this conversation with Tom Brady? I think if you get to 3 in your first 7 years, sure, that's a feat. But if you play 17 years and you never get back, and you don't even catch some of these guys like Terry Bradshaw and Joe Montana that I mentioned, then it's another example of slowing the fuck down. Like, we don't need to be having this GOAT debate in the first segment of these guys' careers. Let's let it play out and see how it happens.
Yeah, I feel you. It just happened so quick for Patrick. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And that's what I think it is. It happened so fast. People are prisoners of the moment. But like, there's a chance it never happens again.
Most definitely.
Travis Kelce wasn't what he was, what he's been for his whole career this year. But having Travis Kelce on the field makes a difference for your team. Say Travis Kelce's not on the field, there's not somebody you always have to worry about no matter what, that basically does whatever he wants on the field. You know what I mean? Like, that changes the dynamic. And with those Warriors, like you're talking about, they're in that situation right now. And I talked about the beginning of the year. Maybe it's time. It was an overreaction, but maybe it's time for Steve Kerr to go or just change the philosophy, because the way it worked in that Warriors dynasty doesn't work with the players they have now. And that's something that I think the Chiefs may have to consider going forward, even as soon as next year.
Oh yeah, they might shake something up. Uh, they're getting. I mean, they're not as strong as they used to be, and it looks like they might have to retool some things, man. Get it going.
We shall see, man. But with that Super Bowl over, I know you were thinking back on some of your favorite Super Bowl performances of all
Well,
time.
a lot of it is just like how criticized this Super Bowl was. And I was like, this might be one of the best ones from my point of view. I thought this was one of the best ones. I thought not just because of the performance, but the message behind it. But my favorite probably would have to be the Dre. That Dre one was cold with everybody in it, and I think Kendrick probably did the best there too. And then of course MJ, can't beat that MJ one.
Oh, you were talking about actual like halftime performances.
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. You said Super Bowl earlier, so I was just thinking about the game. But all right.
Oh no, I'll put halftime in there.
So no, I didn't look. You told me, so it doesn't matter.
Oh, okay, you didn't look at. Okay, I got you.
So hold on, slow down. We're going top three. Go one at a time.
I gave you all three.
Yeah, but you just said their names.
Kendrick, it's the Dre one, and the MJ.
Why?
Those are my favorite ones. Just probably the ones that I vibe with the most. The motherfucking Dre one felt like a fucking party, like he was in the club. You saw 50. You saw all these cats we grew up watching. This Kendrick one, because it was a beef track. You know what I'm saying? This was just beef music. And it became that big. He won 5 awards off of it. He deaded the whole beef. We put it in the rafters with the rest of the beef songs. And MJ, you can't beat the Michael Jackson, the best performer of all time, giving you a halftime performance. Ill.
I dig it. Those might be my three favorite too.
I'm trying to think of another one, man, that goes up in there. But who do they do next? That's what we need to know.
We gotta wait and see. We talked about that last
week. Shop talk too. Like, some people believe it should be some EDM because of how big that is in the world. You believe it should be the other side, like Taylor Swift.
EDM's not that big in the football world. Like it's a whole different arena of people if you want to put EDM at the halftime show.
So you believe EDM crowd might not be big football fans either.
Not a football crowd. No, like that doesn't.
This works because majority black on the field. There's a lot of blacks watching.
I mean, if you just look at the music, like there's a lot of hip hop fans that are football fans. There's a lot of country fans that are football fans. A lot of rock and roll fans that are hip hop fans. Not a lot of EDM people are, as a whole. I don't want to generalize. Are sports fans at all? You know what I mean?
I don't know. Because I live in the base capital. You know what I'm saying? So it's like everybody listens to it here. But I don't know about other places. You know what I'm saying? Maybe somebody's got it in their headphones, catching routes for the game. I don't know.
That would go down as one of the worst Super Bowls of all time. It's just a bad idea. And I'm a dude that has spent plenty of times at festivals and done a couple of raves and things in my life, but it just that doesn't mix. It just doesn't mix to me. You can have Shaq during the weekend somewhere during Super Bowl weekend doing his thing, but like at halftime of the Super Bowl, nobody wants to see that. Those trails and stuff though in the arena during that show would be kind of dope though. All right, man, let's get it around the rim. We had All-Star Weekend this past week. Started off Friday with the Rising Stars and the Celebrity Game. Did you get to catch any of those?
Yeah, I watched the Rising Stars versus G League game. I watched all the games. I watched all of them. And I saw G League start ramping up and, trying to give these cats a run for their money. I started rooting for them. It would be crazy watching the G League players beat everybody. It's like, damn, they deserve a contract if they did some shit like that.
They definitely
rooting for that shit, man.
Did you catch the Celebrity Game at all?
I did not catch the Celebrity Game, no.
To me, I guess celebrities have changed. It's just like you still get a few of the names in there. Like I remember there being some guys that you're like, oh, okay, they could kind of fucking hoop back in the day, but like And one of those players we used to think that about was still in this game at 51, 52 years old. Terrell Owens still making celebrity games. But other than that, you had guys like Drewski, ass, Kai Cenat, ass, even Bailey from WWE. I saw her hitting some jumpers in the shoot around, but trash. But like, I miss celebrities that could actually hoop. BD was out there kind of doing his thing a little bit. Had an old man game on, so I was cool with BD. Baron Davis doing his thing.
Kevin's too old, right? Kevin's done it 3 times.
Kevin can't be too old if Terrell Owens is out there.
Did TL put one down?
He was close. He had some legs. But he didn't grab it. He didn't grab it, but he got up there.
They always put a high jumper in there nowadays.
He had some highlights.
Yeah.
What was his name? Shelby something. He was a silver medalist, I believe. He had a nice little dunk and then little windmill.
Who's a hooper? Who's an actor or celeb that you think can hoop?
I mean, there's still Chris Browns. There's Futures. There's Drake could have found something to do this weekend since last weekend was about K Dot. Like there's
that would have been fire if they got K Dot on the team and Drizzy on the other one for sure.
Jack Harlow out there. Jagged Edge just dropped a new album. Put some of those guys out there. Like there's, I don't know. I just didn't recognize a lot of people, and maybe it's geared toward a different age group or demographic now, but it wasn't great. Yeah, the Rising Stars game was good. It was competitive. I like seeing the guys get out there and do their thing. Let's move to Saturday night. We had the skills competition, 3-point shootout, as well as the dunk contest. For the last couple of years, it seemed like the 3-point shootout had kind of been the star of the show when it came to All-Star Saturday night. In my opinion,
it was trash this year.
The whole night was trash. Honestly, the skills competition wasn't great, especially with Wemby and CP3 trying to cheat. That was a whole thing. That just the skills challenge just doesn't excite me, I guess.
It doesn't show their skills. It doesn't show their skills.
It is what it is. And then the 3-point shootout, it was lackluster to say the least.
It's like, how you gonna be a shooting league and y'all are this trash at 3-pointers?
I think they should have found a way to put stuff in there since they didn't do the Sabrina thing in his hometown. Buddy was out there; he did okay. But if you're gonna have a warrior in the Bay in the 3-point shootout, his name should be Steph Curry. And then the dunk contest was trash too, outside of Mac McClung. And then towards the end, Stephon Castle kind of got going a little bit. But like I texted you, we were talking back and forth during the contest. Mac McClung had a one with the first dunk. That shit was over.
It was a wrap.
It was super easy. But when it got to the dunk contest, my favorite part of the night was the package they had with T-Mac and Vince Carter reliving the dunk contest from 25 years ago in 2000, which was also in the Bay. So it's kind of the anniversary of those guys going back and forth for one of the most epic dunk contests of all time. The resurgence, the bring back of the dunk contest. It had been gone for 2 years. But just listening to those guys relive it took me right back. And that
was the best part of the slam dunk contest for sure.
And if it makes me feel that kind of way, like I don't understand how players don't feel that way. Like you can listen to T-Mac and Vince talk about the feeling and what they wanted to do out there. Like why don't more guys take that initiative? So it got me super hyped for the dunk contest. Vince kind of was spotted throughout the whole weekend doing his thing, and that kind of got me hyped. But it pissed me off at the same time because you don't see that anymore. But when we got down to the dunk contest, once Mac started doing his thing, you start seeing a couple of these tweets come out. John Morant talking about he's getting the itch now that he sees Mac doing his thing, and tweeted directly at Aaron Gordon and Zach LaVine to see where they at on the whole thing. And even Zach LaVine tweeted out that he might have to do it again. So if this does lead to getting stars like John Morant, getting Zach LaVine back in the dunk contest, Aaron Gordon, matchups like that, then I can't wait for next year. But one can't help but think this is just going to be lip service. We've seen LeBron put his name in public for the following year. We never got LeBron in the dunk contest. So it's all sweet when they're in the heat of the moment. But let's see when push comes to shove next year if we can actually get some stars in all of these contests, not just the dunk contest, 3-point shootout, the skills challenge, all those things. What are your thoughts on the dunk contest?
All of that, man. Yeah, it'd be cool to see Aaron Gordon in it, Zach in it. Yeah, it was cool listening to Vince Carter talk about what these dunkers need to do to elevate, slow down maybe, take a breath, just try to make the dunk. Um, yeah, hopefully it gets a little better than that. Maybe put Zion in it.
And
A
that,
healthy Zion.
I gave up on that. Like the injuries, all that was Zion. We might as well not even bother wanting him in the dunk contest. But when you see guys like Tracy McGrady and Vince Carter and talking about how the impact they wanted to make on this dunk contest, you got to wonder. And these two guys are Hall of Famers, so you got to wonder where guys are like John Morant, Anthony Edwards, shit, Jalen Green, Amen Thompson. Some of these guys getting this dunk contest. Now that you got a G leaguer who's won it 3 years in a row, where's your pride at? Where do you come take this dunk contest back and bring it to guys actually in the NBA? No shade on Mac McClung. Fucking killed it. 50 on every dunk, and deservedly so.
I wonder what kind of check he'd be getting to just keep coming back like this. It's got to be like, oh yeah, we making ends meet with these ones.
It's more than this G League check, you know what I mean? Like this, he probably gets a couple sponsors, gets a little nice little thing for winning. Like he does all right, and I know his thing is he wants to be in the league.
I mean, that's the point. Like, what are we doing here?
And like he said, it might be his last one. I don't want to see Mac McClung again.
Nobody wants to see Mac again. He said that last year. It's like, I don't know, man. And he got the MVP in that bitch.
Right. He does his thing down in the East. So win 3 times. Like he doesn't need to do it again. Now what's up with the star system? What's that?
Just put him on the fucking team.
What, we don't want to just do that.
Just put him on the fucking team.
There's got to be a reason he's not up there yet. You know what I mean?
But you gotta like the production the TNT and NBA did. I fucked with what they were trying to do. I just felt like, maybe the All-Stars could have tried a little harder during all those competitions on Saturday, for sure.
If you could get Vince Carter the way he announced all the dunkers, you get Vince Carter announcing a John Morant and guys like that.
It was hard. That's hard.
You know what I mean? So
that made me want to do this shit for sure.
Hopefully.
But even the production coming into Sunday night, Cat Williams, I thought that shit was hard.
I did like that.
You know what I'm saying? He even talked a little bit about his flaws, but the storytelling was dope. The storytelling was there. It was just
throughout the whole weekend. They did a really good. All-Star Weekend always does a good job with those kind of things. Let's get into Sunday night. We got the new format. They use it down in the G League. They use it for the Rising Stars game. But we got 4 teams comprised of 3 teams full of 8 All-Stars and 1 of the winner of the Rising Stars game that we mentioned from Friday night. We talked about the teams last week. Candace was coaching the Rising Stars team that came up against Shaq's OGs. The first game was the international team from Chuck's side that Chuck picked, and then the young All-Stars from Kenny. International team took that one. And then in the OGs versus the Rising Stars, we knew how that was going to be. I didn't think it'd be that close. But there's no way that the OGs are losing to the Rising Stars.
Yeah, they weren't. They were losing to anybody.
No, that wasn't going down that way. So I'm glad they showed a little bit of pride. It was a much more competitive series of games than it has been in the last few years. So that was good to see. That's kind of the thing we wanted out of it. I don't really mind the format. It was kind of cool. It's weird. But it was kind of cool. There's a lot in between, a lot of pomp and circumstance and bells and whistles all between everything. The Bay Area performance at like the pseudo halftime was dope too. I think it was pretty solid. But I'm curious, like, what newer All-Stars think of this format. You got guys like Cade Cunningham making their first All-Star appearance, and after 25 minutes or so, their All-Star appearance is done and it's over. They play that one game, they lose in that first round. Their All-Star in their first, they don't get a fourth quarter. They don't get a chance for a comeback. They don't get these moments that we're accustomed to in All-Star games like this. It's just that one and done to 40 and you're out. So that's the one thing that kind of makes me feel for these younger guys that are just making their way into the All-Star game.
I don't think they took any of that into accountability. I'm sure they might do the same kind of thing next year, but it's probably more on a time restriction, maybe 2 quarters, something else. You know what I'm saying? But, yeah, some of these guys have been waiting their whole careers to get out there, and to only get, like, a point is like, nah.
some of the guys you didn't even really see. Like we didn't see Giannis.
We didn't see Trey really. Trey was trying to get something to fall. He didn't get nothing to fall.
Rob an hour before the game.
Yeah, I mean, Steph Curry hit like fucking 4 3-pointers, and then he was the MVP. But I was watching the game, and Kyrie Irving deserved that fucking MVP.
Kyrie, Dame, and Steph were the ones that was coming down to, because Kyrie was kind of locking up on D.
Kyrie was controlling the game. Honestly, he was doing all the Magic Man shit. He's poking the ball. He was making plays. Even in the first game, I saw that they sat him for the second part of the points, but I saw the coach say something to him like, yeah, you probably the reason we just won this shit. And then he benched at the end of the game. But
it's in the Bay. It was going to Dame or Steph, being hometown, homegrown,
of course,
home team.
Damn, I for sure wanted Kyrie to have that one.
That would have been
he got one though. You know what I'm saying? He don't have to do this shit.
It would have been cool for him to get one because he wasn't originally an All-Star. He was replacing AD. So for him to come on, even for him to play like that was great to see. Again, I love the competitiveness. Wemby was one of my favorite guys of the night. The attitude he had all night, told his older guys, told the vets on his squad, I'm young, I can run. I'm sprinting up and down the court. I heard his warm-up before the game was just sprinting, just quickness. So you saw that from Wemby all night long. And I saw all week last week, there was a lot of people talking about Anthony Edwards bringing the guy to bring competitiveness back to the All-Star game. One of those young guys kind of cutting their teeth and getting back in. But Victor Wembanyama is going to be that guy.
Yeah, Wemby looked like he was out there taking it serious, man.
He was, and a lot more guys were. Like I'm happy to see that. So I don't know if I want to see it again next year, but it was all right. It was okay. It was better than previous years, so I guess I'll take it.
Yeah, real stuff. You see Jokic was talking trash to him in the locker room.
Yeah.
You read books.
Kyrie was talking this shit too. You see him with the trophy. He was walking around with the trophy afterwards.
You see him take some money out of the
yeah.
That shit was funny. That was a cool part too. I feel like that was almost to replace the Steph Curry shit. But
yeah, it was a fun little thing to do in there.
Kid hit a buzzer beater. Hit the buzzer beater for 100,000. I'm like, okay.
So you got
Kenny came out there and Shaq came out there to help hype that whole moment up too.
Yeah, the mascots lift them on their shoulders and stuff. That was cool.
That shit was hard.
So you have any notes? Anything you would want to improve on from this product in the All-Star game? Any things you would change to make it a little better? Or are you cool with how it was?
The format of the tournament. Yeah, I'd make it longer, man. I know that these players don't want to play long. That's probably why LeBron opted out or whatever, just because he knew it was probably going to be more physical. And he's like, I'm not playing a whole bunch of first and second year players competitively for a game that doesn't mean much to me in my 21st All-Star game. But I don't know. There's got to be something where these players that deserve to be there can get a little more shine.
Agreed. Did you hear Draymond Green at all during the broadcast?
I seen him up there. I wasn't really peeping what he was saying.
He was loudly against the Rising Stars being on a Sunday night on All-Star Weekend. Like, he was not for it at all.
I can see Draymond taking that approach,
and I'm glad he did. Like, because you could see guys, even if they felt that way, they bite the bullet and they just put on a happy face and go with it. But the entire time, before the game, during the game, after the games, he said those guys didn't deserve to be on that court, and to an extent, I agree with him. They didn't earn that right as all the other guys did, especially when it's sacrificing some of these younger guys or guys that don't really have an opportunity. So my one suggestion, if we're going to keep this format, is instead of bringing in Rising Stars and having that whole debate, and because Steph Curry at the end ended up agreeing with him as well, is instead of using those guys that didn't really earn that spot, why not do like a second chance list or a snub list of like 15, 20 guys that were just on the outside of making the All-Star team, like your Melo Balls. John Morant was probably close, even though he missed some time. And guys like that. And you take those 12 to 15 guys and you have the fans vote again to get whatever the 8 players they need on that roster, and you just have all those guys that felt they were snubbed make up that fourth team.
Yeah, it could be a whole team of fan choices. I mean, I feel like that makes
like LaMelo Ball led the fan voting. So
Yeah,
you
that's
put him on something like that. Guys like that, like give them a chance instead of just throwing in the rising stars guys. I get what they were doing with them winning on Friday night, but why not those guys that think they should have been in the All Star game with a chip on their shoulders? Another way to make this game competitive, if you ask me. Oh, you didn't want me to be here? Like say everybody was healthy, Kyrie would have been on that other squad.
yeah.
Trae Young probably would have made that other squad, the snub squad, like and make it competitive that way. Because as you mentioned, Kyrie was playing some of the best defense of the night. That would have been for a whole nother team. Things could have shook out another way. So I think
Edwards.
right. Well, I mean, he made the team. He's there. So he just didn't get run really, or didn't want to. He doesn't give a shit about the All Star game, which is crazy as fuck to me. Since you didn't really hear a lot from Draymond, let's get your thoughts on this. Fresh, Draymond Green guaranteed a championship from the Warriors this year. What do you think?
I love it. I love what he thinks. That's cool. That's cool. And you should feel that way if you got a Jimmy Butler over there. If you hearing what he's chirping right now, that man is a fucking dog. He's amped. He's been waiting for this moment. And I feel like some players dumb down their play in order to be fresh for their next opportunity. I think Jimmy Butler's, waited and been marinating long enough. And we might see reminiscences of 2020. You know what I'm saying? Jimmy Butler carrying the team to the finals. Bro, he don't got to carry him no more. He just got to do shit. He just got to play his game. When he fucking drives through the paint and kicks out, there's going to be real weapons there. It's going to be cold in the Bay.
So do you agree or you just like it?
I fuck with it. I don't want it. I don't want to believe it, but I fuck with his optimism, his belief. That's how you got to feel coming in here. And if they got that feeling, watch out.
Agree.
Raymond has that feeling. He has the batteries to put in Steph's back.
They actually asked Steph about it after the game. And he said, we love pressure. Draymond knows what he's doing. He's smart. So, Steph's not counted out either. That makes it a little – I'll talk a little bit more about it in a little bit. But look out for the Warriors, man. They've been, 3-4-1 since Jimmy's got over there. They're looking good right now. They're only in 10th right now, but there's plenty of time left in the season, like you said. With this being the All-Star break, I thought this would be another time, like we did earlier in the year, to do some hot takes and overreactions at the All-Star break for the NBA. So why don't you give me one of your first ones?
That's one for sure. That Draymond Green shit right there.
Your own. I don't need Draymond Green's hot take. I need yours.
Hot takes and overreact. Go ahead. I'm sure you got some, dog.
Oh, I got a few.
Go ahead.
Blow it up in Phoenix. The Suns sacrificed their whole future to bring in Kevin Durant, Bradley Beal. Has not worked. They got rid of Mikal Bridges, Cam Johnson, Jay Crowder, 4 unprotected picks to bring in KD. Got rid of CP3, Landry Shamet, and 4 pick swaps and 6 other picks to bring in Brad Beal. Horrible. Nothing's worked out for them. They've been lower, 6 to 10 seeds since these trades have been made. KD was already a surprising name going towards the deadline this year. And all rumors are saying that he's going to want out after the season. So this could be it for KD in Phoenix anyway. So why not just make that happen? Get rid of KD, trying to recoup some assets, bring in some more picks, bring in some young players, and then trying to find a place for Bradley Beal. He's signed through the 26-27 season, but has a player option for that final year. But if you can get off of that contract and also bring back some assets, they lost 14 picks for those 2 guys. Try to bring in some young players, maybe another chance to build around Devin Booker, or ship off Devin Booker too and start from scratch.
Holy shit, he's gonna be a Laker.
Devin Booker is going to give you the best return.
And
it's not going to happen because they can't afford him. But if you look at some of these teams, like the San Antonio Spurs have the assets. I don't know what's going on with the T-Wolves, but those are 2 different places that you could see Kevin Durant. As far as Bradley Beal, I don't know where he'd drop his no trade clause to go to. I know he doesn't really want the cold weather. Miami doesn't want him, so you have to find some other things. And with his contract still having another 2 years on it, I don't know how easy that will be to move. And then if you take that serious look at Devin Booker, again, with teams like the Spurs, the Thunder, the Rockets, all having multiple draft picks over the next 5 to 7 years, you get all those picks in a Devin Booker deal, and you imagine Devin Booker with the Rockets. They need a guy that can go get buckets, an adult in the room that can kind of calm everybody down when they get down to crunch time. The Thunder could use another playmaker, and the Spurs. You put De'Aaron Fox, Devin Booker, and Wemby as your core going forward. Devin Booker's a little older than their timeline, but he's been to the finals. He knows what it takes to get there. Something CP3 hasn't done. So that's another thing to bring in for those young cats. And with all those assets, you can move. And if they're able to hold on to Stephon Castle again, like they were in the De'Aaron Fox deal, the Spurs can win a championship in the next 2 years. You know what I mean? So that's my first hot take, man. If Luka can get traded, Devin Booker can get traded. Maybe Orlando. There's lots of places, but I say blow it up in Phoenix. That's my first hot take and overreaction.
Hot take overreaction. Braun ain't hurt. Braun ain't hurt right now. I think he's resting, getting ready for this next stretch of the season. We gonna need his resting anyway. So,
well, he sat out last week because of the ankle. You remember he only played that one game just to get that first game in with Luka, but right before that,
I missed that
anyway. Yeah, he was out with that injury before, so I kind of legit, but I'll get more into LeBron a little later.
I'll take he ain't hurt.
The Eastern Conference doesn't matter. The Celtics are winning the East. That's really all there is to it. I know they're in second right now. They're 5.5 games behind the Cavs. They look good. The Knicks have looked good. The Pacers are right there in 4. But this is all just delaying the inevitable. The Bucks and Pacers are hanging around a little bit. Cavs brought in DeAndre Hunter, huh?
Cleveland looks tough with that DeAndre Hunter too.
That's a good pickup. They did some things to directly challenge the Boston Celtics.
Right.
The Bucks did as well, bringing in Kyle Kuzma, another guy like that. But doesn't matter. You got the best starting 5 in the league. What looks like is going to be the 6th man of the year in Peyton Pritchard, and everybody that's just a star in their role from 1 to 12 on that roster. You know what I mean? So they're just kind of playing with their food. They're in the 2nd seed right now. But when it comes playoff time, and now that they've been there also, I don't see anybody in the East unless, I don't see anybody in the East beating the Celtics this year.
I see. Yeah, hopefully Tatum could do a little bit more.
I don't hope for that at all.
MVP trophy.
I don't hope for that in the least bit.
But hey, if they get there, man, he should definitely try to get one.
Yeah, right.
But yeah. No, that's it for me on the hot takes.
I got one more, and this goes back to what we were just talking about. The Warriors are the most dangerous team to those top teams in the West right now. I said earlier in the season when we first did these hot takes that maybe it's time to get rid of Steve Kerr or to change the philosophy in Golden State. And to an extent, it changes the philosophy, but adding a Jimmy Butler, gives you a whole new wrinkle, a whole other dimension to your offense and adds something to you defensively. I was curious to see how he integrate into the team, but not necessarily to the extent of Kevin Durant. But Jimmy Butler is another one of those plug and play players. Anywhere in the league, you plug in Jimmy Butler and it's going to work.
Man, oh man.
Doesn't need the ball in his hand, doesn't have to dominate, will guard your team's best wing player, can get you buckets when it matters, can make plays for other people. And even in those runs that the Warriors have had, they've never had a Jimmy Butler. And Jimmy Butler led 2 teams to the finals and has never sniffed another player close to the caliber of Steph Curry, the mentality of Draymond Green, and guys that have been there, done that, and know how to win in the NBA. So with the chip on his shoulder, now that he has to open a new coffee shop and shit like that, and that key that Draymond just put in both their backs, because he even said, good luck, Steph and Jimmy, dealing with that after he guaranteed that championship. I could see a world where the Warriors do get through and at least get to the finals. Welcome back.
Yes, sir.
You didn't like my hot take? Or what?
I don't know if there was a shortage or what. This shit just turned off. That shit was crazy.
Word up. Word up.
That shit was
Let's
crazy.
take it out.
I don't even remember it, man. I didn't. Tell me about it again. Tell me more.
Warriors are the most dangerous team in the West of those top teams, the Rockets, the Thunder.
Said the Warriors and the Spurs.
The Warriors are the most dangerous team to those top teams in the West.
I agree completely, man. They clicked right away. I mean, those Warriors know what Jimmy's already about. And for him to come in his first game and get dropped 20 after sitting on the couch, quote unquote, because we know Jimmy Butler wasn't just sitting on the couch. Jimmy stayed in shape. Jimmy stayed ready. And Jimmy about to ball out. Jimmy about to ball out. I mean, I wasn't a believer of these Warriors. I mean, I knew they was killers. I wasn't a fan of these Warriors until that last championship where we got to see them live as well. But with the addition of Jimmy Butler, I like him in the West too right now, man.
I wanted to talk some WWE, but I talked about this with the guys on Triple Threat Wrestling. Shout out Travis and MVP. This has been such a lackluster build so far with what we got last year on the road to WrestleMania. It's just not grabbing me yet. We got Jey Uso announced against Gunther. We're still waiting to see how Elimination Chamber shakes out. That's really all that's been announced so far for Mania. So we got this long build. Elimination Chamber's coming, but it hasn't been exciting. Jacob Fatu's done some good things. He's probably my favorite thing in wrestling right now, but there's not much in advancement of stories or much on this road to WrestleMania to really get us excited yet. So I figured I'd hold off on WWE stuff. I did watch NXT this week though.
There's some good talent coming up, huh?
There's a lot of really good guys on there. And you hear about it a lot, but I just haven't checked it out. So I figured with Ricky Starks being one of the guys released from AEW, he made his appearance on NXT this week. There should be some other guys to follow. Miro, who's formerly known as Rusev, and Aleister Black on their way back to WWE as well, it looks like. There's some other things in the wings that could be getting people excited. It's just, I don't know. We'll see what happens on Raw this week. But so far, man, I just haven't been excited since maybe SummerSlam. It's like some of these little exciting things, the Jimmy story or Jay's story has been nice and things like that, but it's not as exciting as last year this time was.
Yeah, I can see that for sure. I'm sure all you can do is plot and scheme in that business, man. They're just thinking about the next big thing for sure.
They'll figure it out, man. I'm not too worried about it. I'm still tuning in. Who you getting at L to this week?
Jimmy Butler.
Damn.
They were in white uniforms recently. He got called for an offensive foul, and we realized he had something on his shorts. Not sure what it was, but it looked like some dookie. And to his credit, there is a virus going around, so you can't trust every fart right now. But even if it wasn't doo-doo, his shorts wasn't clean. And it was right there. So it's an L. It's an L. I'm sorry. If it looked like there was some doo-doo on my shorts, I'll be taking the L too.
I give him the L for the dirty shorts. The one thing that makes me think it's not doo-doo is that they don't even really let you play with blood on your jerseys. So they're gonna let you just play with shit on your shorts. You know what I mean?
Interesting. It happened recently though. Did you see the clip? Did you see the clips?
I saw it.
There was players from the other team looking to see what it was too.
I also saw Jalen Brunson get a cut on his finger last week, and they had to stop the whole fucking game. So that's one thing that makes me think it wasn't shit.
It makes me think that it was even fresher of a shit.
They're not gonna let you play. That's my thought process. How you just get back on the court with shit in your shorts when they stopped the whole thing.
Okay. You're saying because it continued, the game continued.
Right, they kept playing. So
refs didn't see it. I also think the ref saw it for sure.
Everybody saw it.
Damn. I want to know what the backstory is, but next time just do the Paul Pierce and have him wheel out a wheelchair for you.
Originally, my L was going to go to Brianna Stewart. They had the one-on-one tournament in the Unrivaled League this past week, and as one of the players widely regarded as best in the world, if not Asia Wilson, and a founder, along with Nafisa Collier, who won the one-on-one tournament.
Right.
You don't get skunked in your own league, dog. 12-zip, Beast Stew, skunked in her own league in a one-on-one tournament. That was originally going to be my L until tonight. LeBron James can hold that L. You don't think he's injured? I know he was sitting out with his ankle this past week. My thing is, if you're not going to play, say that earlier in the week and stop holding that roster spot. Let somebody else get in there. We talk about these snubs.
Not participate in anything at all.
Get out of the way. Let somebody else take that spot. Let somebody else get in there. Let somebody else play. You don't wait until an hour before the game. It was an hour before tip-off that LeBron wasn't playing. Like, just get that shit out the way and let somebody else get up in that spot.
Agree completely, man. I agree completely. It's like, I don't know. It was nasty. He didn't wave to nobody. He stayed like he was on the bench of just a game, a home game.
Right.
Oh, I think that's an L as well.
Yeah, I didn't like that. It kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Like that does also tell me though that Bron got at least one more year left because he's not going out like that in an All-Star game.
Agreed. I like that. I like that optimism right there for sure.
Bully of the week.
I'm gonna have to give it to some of these cats in the debuts of their shoes. From Kyrie Irving dropping an ill-ass Anta Kai 2 tonight. Might be my favorite shoe in the league right now. Minus the feathers, but it's a really dope shoe. He's got really nice shoes. And your boy Shea. Shea dropped a shoe that he believes can be worn off the court as well.
I saw him styling it.
Yeah, debuted it in some places, had Yachty on stage, put the Batman symbol up with his logo in the middle, zip up, sleek zip up, suede wheat color. He trying something.
Converse.
Can't be mad for Converse and Shea for trying something.
I might have to check them out. At least try them on.
Can't wait to see another colorway for sure.
I at least want to try on some Converse hoop shoes.
That's a fact. Also, Wale dropped a Nike over the All-Star weekend that nobody's ever seen before. Huh?
What did he drop now? I know he dropped those cherry blossoms not too long ago.
Oh, man, I'm about to show you them. I'll send them to you.
Bet. My bully of the week, Mac McClung.
Hell yeah,
Mac. Didn't miss a dunk, didn't take too long on any dunks except for when they were reversing the car to put onto the court. So, like, right. I'll give you a pass. It was exciting. It was worthy of winning. And he put on a hell of a show. It's just a shame that it takes a G League player to give us something like that. But do your fucking thing, Mac McClung. My honorable mention, Marshawn Lynch. He just keeps getting movie roles. I just saw him announced for something. He's on the next season of Euphoria. Shout out Marshawn for doing his fucking thing.
Okay, Marshawn Lynch is he's top 5 football players for me, for sure.
I just want to hang out. I said this on Mac's podcast a couple weeks ago when I was on the Mac Truck Show. Like, I just want to kick it with Marshawn Lynch. I think, like, he might be, like, if I can meet any professional athlete, he might be one of my best friends. You know what I mean? Like, me and Marshawn would kick it.
Marshawn's cool as a motherfucker. Eat some Skittles with him.
Oh, I do like those guys.
Them shits look through them. Look at that shit. Shits are wild, ain't they?
Oh, you know what? I did see these. These are actually these are supposed to be the updated foam posits.
Okay, I like that.
I think I got black colorway for them too.
Nice Kicks dropping a whole bunch of shit. Look, here's a different colorway right here, I think. Were they this week? Oh, let me send them to you.
You send it, yeah. But yeah, those are supposedly
what foams are going to be like then, huh?
Mm-hmm. The 2025 foams.
I'm going to send you the Kai's too, bro.
Yeah, I want to see those. I don't know what I was doing to where I didn't think to look at shoes tonight.
Type shit.
Yeah, I do like those guys.
Crazy. What about these? Donkey Kong Air Max 1s. There's some shoes drivers. All right, Nike likes to take advantage of right now and drop some shit. So
Did you see all the 11s coming out this year?
I did not. No, I'm not. I haven't been a big fan lately.
I sent it to you.
Oh, okay.
There's a bunch of 11. There's a bunch of lows and highs coming out from the 11s this year.
Ooh, you know I fuck with the lows though.
There's the lows are probably the most solid ones out of the pack that I saw. But there's like 9 different 11s coming out this year.
You know I fuck with the lows.
You know, when I'm looking at social media, I just saw this thing that Kendrick Perkins said could have said this earlier, talking about LeBron.
Yeah.
Said this earlier. Norman Powell could have made his first All-Star appearance. So there's one guy right there. Norman Powell could have been an All-Star if LeBron would have just sat his ass down last week.
You're right. Send me them 11s again, man.
I'll have to find them again, but I'll send them to you. You got anything else for the show this week, C?
Anything else for the show this week? What do we got? Let me see if we got anything else.
You got Shop Talk?
Jimmy, let us know what the shit was on your shorts was. Shop Talk. Nah, it's crazy seeing these King Supers cats really on strike after we talked about it.
It's going down, huh? Where you shopping?
Costco. Shout out to Hall of Famers, Melo and Dwight making that list.
It's crazy how much people have called for Dwight to be a Laker, and he's at this point of a Hall of Fame finalist.
I think that says something about his health and longevity as well. I think he can still make the team. Also, shout out Sue Bird and Maya Moore. They're on that list as well. Big names going in there, man. And Vince Carter for being such a fucking dope person over the weekend because he didn't have to do none of that, but they paid him.
Vince deserves Bully of the Week. Vince gets Bully of the
Week. Vince deserves Bully of the Year probably. Shit.
This was his year. Retired 2 jerseys. Got that Raptors logo.
Yeah, he's winning right now. And
25
years. Put the statue up. Shit. Oh, yeah, and shout out Melo for being funny as hell. And Dwayne Wade for being funny as hell for the commercial with Melo statue. Wade was definitely a good sport for that shit.
Yeah.
Man, he loved how shitty the trophy was. Melo talking about, please let it be good. Please let it be good. It was good. It was just tiny as a motherfucker.
Right. That shit was funny.
This shit was good, man.
All right, man. Well, that's all for this week. Make sure you guys check out our links down below for our affiliate codes to WWE, NBA, NFL, UFC shops, as well as Fanatics and In My Bag Apparel. Denver, Colorado area, you need those cuts. CBD Bullies making husbands. Check out Bullies Cuts and Styles on Booksy.com. Other than that, man, that's it for Recognized Game. We will catch you guys next week with the NBA back in action.